There you have it. That was the Baltimore prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby, moments ago. Cheers after she said the word homicide. Joining me now on the phone is Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark. Sheriff, I was listening to the prosecutor's report there, and it was a thorough and detailed laying out of what happened in the death of Freddie Gray. You agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't hear the whole thing, but she just got the case yesterday, I believe. It seems a little quick, but I trust the process. That's just one step in the process. We'll see how this thing develops as we move forward.
To me, Sheriff, it sounded like they were throwing the book at the police officers involved in this, not because they directly caused the death of Freddie Gray, but because they totally mishandled his medical condition.
Yeah, and this gets into the legal aspect, really, and that's why I think further down the road, if she forces this thing, forces a criminal indictment here, she's going to be met head-on down the road with trying to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's why I said it's just one step, and we'll see how this thing moves forward.
So we now have to see whether or not the crowds which are engaging in Baltimore, do they accept this process? Do they accept this process now that the use of the word homicide is in play and criminal charges are in play?
Well, that'll be interesting because they've been claiming all along, they meaning people who have been speaking on behalf of this thing that I've seen interviewed, say they don't trust the process. Now all of a sudden they trust the process because they got a determination that they like, and so it's situational, really. But I would imagine now, if you look at it logically, I guess all the protesters can go home.
How do you see this thing playing out?
Well, the court battle will be lengthy. It'll be long, depending on how many defendants you have named in this thing. This could go well into the summer, well into the fall.
But by taking a long time, the process gives a little more food for thought and reflection, and maybe buys time for peace. Could you say that?
Sure, and that's why I trust the process. I trust our criminal justice system. Whether or not we get a determination that we like, that's what I keep reminding people, that justice isn't a decision that you like or this decision you accept. Justice is applying this thing to the rule of law and allowing everybody each step along the way of a criminal prosecution and then ultimately the jury's determination.
Does it sound to you a little harsh that these men and women are being held on criminal charges because they failed to properly handle Freddie Gray and his medical condition and did not put him in a seatbelt in the back of the van? Will you make the judgment that that is a little harsh?
Well, I have some experience in this. I'm a former homicide detective, and I supervised homicide cases as well. That which you just presented to me, and again, I'm going to point this out, I don't know all the facts yet, but that which you pointed out to me seems like a standard they're not going to be able to meet. That sounds more like a civil tort than it does a criminal indictment.
Do you think perhaps that the prosecutor was being very political when she imposed those criminal charges?
I would be less than forthright to say that she's being anything less than political. I think this is very political. I could surmise in the tone of her voice she sounded almost exuberant in her announcement, when she really needs to remember that she represents the state in this thing, not a protest movement, and not trying to appease an angry crowd.
Sheriff David Clark, we appreciate you coming on the program at such short notice.